All right, guys, let's discuss the biggest and baddest NFL, not baddest, I just meant that in like a figure of speech. Let's talk about the biggest storyline in the NFL, which is Mac versus Bailey Zappe. Mac Jones, number 15 overall pick. Bill Belichick didn't trade up to draft him. He unseated Cam Newton, but he's still a top 15 pick. He played at Alabama. He's a national champion. He's a proficient passer. He's 6'3". Great energy, great ethos. And Mac Jones held down the fort last year. Won a ton of games in November now. You can go back and look at that stretch, and yeah, the defense was great, and they did beat bad quarterbacks like Baker, Sam Darnold, Tannehill without A.J. Brown during that stretch. They beat Matt Ryan and the Falcons, so that's when they really got hot. Beat Zach Wilson and the Jets a couple of times during that run, but they still made the playoffs, and he still played solid football, made good decision. He had Josh McDaniels. You now see Albert Breer pointing out that there are frictions now between the Patriots and between Mac Jones, okay? And Mac Jones to start out this year in Miami was really poor. He was bad in that game. He was the reason why they couldn't score over 7 points. He threw some bad interceptions. The deficiency of Mac's game are that his body is not that twitchy. He's kind of like stiff in the pocket. His foot speed in the pocket, he needs a clean pocket. His arm strength, he'll lob the ball. He has a little bit of trouble with hip fluidity. Now he has lost some weight. I think Mac at times can drive it. He does throw off-speed stuff, which means that he can lob it. He does have beautiful touch sometimes down the field over linebackers, but he's just not playing at a quick level. And he's going up against a quarterback in Bailey Zappe that I had question marks of if his arm strength and his size would translate to the NFL level. And against Cleveland, he was making reads like instantaneously. Against Detroit, he made a couple of big throws, but against Cleveland, he was spectacular. And again, and throughout Detroit and Cleveland, through 2 games, okay, and it's 2 games, so he could end up falling off of the map, okay, just like Matt Castle. Through 2 games, the guy has honestly played like, he's looked like young Drew Brees. Drew Brees didn't have the biggest arm out of Purdue. I know Drew was a first rounder, and he played with Joe Tiller and was amazing at Purdue and was a decent quarterback for the Chargers, and it was stronger physically than Bailey Zappe is. But Zappe has some arm strength. He's not just like Sam Ehlinger, where Ehlinger looks like he's all weight, looks like he's all bench press and not able to like really throw the football. Bailey Zappe is uncorking these throws, showing tons of velocity, actually rearing back, and like Bailey Zappe, he's totally different than Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a taller, more prototypical passer. Mac Jones has a better deep ball, I would say, than Zappe, like 50 yards and out. Mac is a little bit taller, but Mac Jones against NFL pass rushers has shown a tendency to struggle. Now, with Bailey Zappe, does Zappe have the arm strength to complete far hash throws, and is his anticipation just next level? Maybe the Browns are terrible, and we know the Lions and the Browns are not very good. That is why, in my opinion, you look at Mac Jones, and he's playing like a decent, average quarterback in the NFL, which is good for a young player, and I believe that he can grow into a decent player. I do believe right now that Bailey Zappe has an upside. I think that he's a lot more athletic in the pocket through 2 games than Mac, though. Because Mac has slow foot speed. I believe Bailey Zappe has faster mobility, much faster footwork. They are different players. Bailey Zappe's more of a reaction, get the ball out quickly type of quarterback, where Mac Jones thrives off strong running games, and then off of play action, his deep ball can be lethal. his deep ball down the field. He's a down the field thrower of the ball. That's where he was with Devontae Smith. He's play action down the field, whereas Bailey Zappe is great at manipulating the pocket. And Bailey Zappe's just a much better athlete in terms of his, footwork and foot speed. I believe that he's much more coordinated in terms of when to leave the pocket, when to feel pressure, when to step up into pressure. His pocket presence has just floored me with how great he's been. So this isn't a knock on Mac Jones, because if anybody has followed me, I love Mac Jones. I love the personality, the fight, the competitor, the way he does interviews, the way that he wouldn't even credit Tom Brady last year. He wouldn't even acknowledge him, really. It wasn't in a bad way, but he's just like, hey, I'm trying to win. The way that his dad was a tennis player, the way that his dad was a professional tennis player and motivated him, the way that when he was a freshman at Alabama as a 3-star who was only getting recruited by Kentucky, how he'd be jawing at guys like Minka Fitzpatrick and Nick Saban. As an 18-year-old, he's a fearless dude, Mac Jones. And Mac Jones, like I said, can throw the deep ball, and Mac Jones is a great competitor, and Mac Jones is the leader of the Patriots in that team. But Mac Jones was inconsistent last year. He would throw bad interceptions. He did all right in the playoff game, but he did not take the Patriots. He was not an untouchable player last year. He was a Pro Bowl alternate. He beat up on a lot of bad teams, but he was progressing under McDaniels. Then they hired Judge and Patricia. He hasn't gone along with that staff. So far throughout the first 3 games, he didn't show signs of progression immediately. Through all those interceptions against Baltimore and against the Dolphins, he was not very good. Against Pittsburgh, if Mac was better, they would have won that game by 20 points. Bailey Zappe has been phenomenal. And if I'm the Patriots, you might have just struck the next Drew Brees. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but there's no reason to rush back a guy in Mac Jones that his mobility is already a weakness of his game. He's best at when he has a clean pocket of delivering down the field. There is no reason to rush back Mac Jones right now. You let Bailey Zappe play this out, and I believe Bailey Zappe is going to have a lot of success. I'm kind of believing it, because Bailey Zappe from Houston Baptist, Victoria, Texas, the Zach Kittley guy, came from an FCS school, came from a Division II school in Houston Baptist where nobody wanted him. Out of high school, he probably was a 2-star recruiter, maybe even a 0-star recruit, just like Cameron Ward, ironically, at Washington State. And then Tyson Helton had the gall and had the insight to say, you know what, Zach Kittley is a cool offensive coordinator. I'll let him bring over Bailey Zappe. And Bailey Zappe went from a 1-star, 2-star recruit, a guy who wasn't even mentioned on 24/7, probably a 0-star recruit, 0. And basically now he was playing Division II football, where there might have been, no offense to Houston Baptist, 200 people watching him. Then he went to Western Kentucky and Conference USA. He lit it up and had the best statistical year of all time, which is absurd. His journey to starting right now is a 1 in a million type of story. It's a story that is written that is crazy. And I think it's going to get crazier, because I would continue to play Bailey Zappe. His footwork is better than Jones. He's reading this offense better. He's delivering darts. Come on, Bill Belichick, 70 years old. This defense is freaking good. Let the kid continue to play. And then if he Cooper rushes his way into a terrible game, I know it could stunt Mac's growth. Sure, that's why it's not easy. But Mac's not untouchable. This guy is showing signs of footwork, arm strength. Kraft loves him. Again, I'm a huge Mac Jones fan, but I also like Bailey Zappe as well. I probably like Mac a little bit more, just in terms of the story, but I can admit Zappe's just a better fit in this offense. And I don't believe it's a death nail for Mac. I still believe that there's spots that if Bailey Zappe happens to be incredible, odds are Mac might get his job back if Bailey happens to play average. But his ankle is not great. Let Bailey play 2 more weeks. If Bailey keeps balling, hey, It's NFL, it's life. It's sometimes life's unfair if you're Mac Jones, but actually it isn't even unfair. The guy Bailey Zappe is just a one-of-one special individual, and Mac Jones then has to get his game to a point where he's automatic and playing in a system that he can be great. And I believe that he's still young enough, he can find his way in this league because of his work ethic and accuracy and his height and all of the stuff we mentioned. So I'd roll with Zappe. There's no reason to take out the hot hand. The team is rolling. The team has a lot of older players, an older coach. See how far the thing can go, because with Mac Jones, you know you're going to get decent quarterback play. But Zappe right now, his upside's higher because of his pocket mobility, because of how fast his feet can work. The delivery's a little bit quicker. Things are just faster, and they're working better. So I'd let the formula keep rolling out, because it's not like you have Aaron Rodgers. It's not like you have a veteran in his second year of a deal, okay? You have a 15th overall pick. He's not even a top 5 pick. 15th overall pick, you're drafting a guard, all right? You're drafting like a right guard at number 15. You're drafting a defensive tackle that plugs the running game. Stop making it such a big deal about draft position and start looking to try to win games. Ride the hot hand. Mac is an adult. He'll understand because Bailey's talented. And we'll all see if Bailey's the guy or not. But let's see if Bailey can do it. We know Mac is a decent player. We all know Mac can be pretty good. But Bailey's upside is higher. Stick with it and see if you have Drew Brees.